There he is this morning. Good morning, Cecil. Where are you?
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Cecil's World. We're right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we're visiting the Grand Strand Model Railroad Incorporated. We're right above Ed's Hobby Shop. Now, we're going to be talking model trains this morning, and now you want to talk about a layout. This is a layout. These gentlemen have been putting this together now for over a dozen years, and we're talking thousands of dollars invested in model trains. We're going to be talking about all that this morning on Cecil's World. You stay with us. We'll be right back from Myrtle Beach.
Smart Summit. But first, here's more model trains with Cecil in Myrtle Beach.
And welcome back to Cecil's World. How many of you would love to have a train set like this? Now, this is some layout. We're right above Ed's Hobby Shop in Myrtle Beach, and this is the Grand Strand Model Railroad Incorporated, and this is where they do all of their hobbies, and Ed's the president. Now, Ed, this is some layout you've got here.
Yes, we've been working on it about 12 years, and we've got 22 members. They range from interest from electrical to designing cars, scenery, everything.
Y'all just come up. This is a place for you to come and play with your trains, right?
That's right. We come up here every Monday evening from about 5 o'clock to 9 and Saturday afternoons from 12 to 5 o'clock.
All right, now, is this open to other people that are interested in getting into model trains?
Yes, anyone can come up. We have 3 open houses every year for Can-Am Days, Sun Fun, and right after Thanksgiving till Christmas. We have a lot of Canadians come up here during Can-Am Days, of course.
Well, how many trains do you have actually yourself?
I've got one here.
One here?
One here. I'm in the N scale, which is a smaller version of this. But we have approximately 30 trains here. We can run about 8 at a time. And we have about 400 rolling stock, or cars, that we can hook to them.
And this took you how many years to put together?
A little over 12.
Wow, I'm going to tell you what, it's some layout. All right, we've got a lot more to tell you on Cecil's World this morning. We're talking model trains, so if you know somebody that likes model trains, call them and wake them up, because there's a lot more to come on Cecil's World this morning.
And the rest of the Carolinas. Think of us first. WBTW TV 13, the Grand Strand's news leader for more than a decade.
And welcome back to Cecil's World. How many of you, when you were a kid, just wished you had a layout like this? You know, Mom and Dad kind of, maybe they bought you a little train set, but they never imagined anything like this. And, you know, I can't imagine until you come up and see this. Let me bring in Derek right now. Derek, I want to ask you about how in the world did people get involved in a hobby like model trains?
Well, most people started, Cecil, obviously you've heard about people that get a Lionel train set for Christmas, and it just expands from there. And I guess we've taken that expansion to the, just multiplied it more and more than what it is.
How long have you been interested in trains now?
Actually, I guess you'd say about 2 years old, I got an American Flyer train set, and that's how I got hooked.
All right, now how many trains do you actually have yourself, Derek?
Oh, gosh. It's tons. I've been collecting now, like I said, since my teens, so I've got quite a collection.
All right, now, does this relax you and really, you know, you can get away from work when you come and play with the trains?
Well, the great thing about the hobby with a lot of people is that it is a stress reliever, and that's one of the reasons I like it. And there's so many things you can do with the hobby, especially when you get into a club with scenery and painting locomotives and that type of thing.
Well, you've got quite a layout here, and we're going to talk more about it. They're going to change a lot of this pretty soon. But if you're looking for something to do, Ed's Hobby Shop, right above it, we're talking about model trains. Man, have we got a lot of them. We'll be back with more on Cecil's World. You stay with us.
I think quite a layout is an understatement for that train set.
That looked cool. I mean, even the big kids enjoy that stuff.
I definitely think so. That puts my brother's little train set when we were growing up to shame. It sure does.
Definitely.
How about our forecast for the weekend, Jeff?
Well, the first part of the weekend looking okay. The second part, not so good.
Okay, no problem.
But today, anyway, starting off kind of cold. Temperatures are near freezing.
Back to Cecil's World. It's 6 o'clock. Time to get up out there in case you've just joined us. We're in Myrtle Beach at Ed's Hobby Shop, and I want to show you a train layout. Now, this is the Grand Strand Model Railroad Incorporated, and this is where they come and play with all their trains, and they have a heck of a layout. We're talking thousands of dollars in work, and it looks like, you know, if you were a small person, this would look like it was actually a train station, a town, everything is right here. We're talking model trains this morning, so if you want to stay with Cecil's World, we're going to show you some choo-choo trains. Stay with us. We'll be back.
The choo-choo train.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Well, we're going to choo-choo on out to the weekend here pretty soon.
Thank goodness.
The first part of the weekend is going to be good. The second part of the weekend, forget about it. It's not going to be very nice. It doesn't look like right now. Let's take a look at what we are seeing.
Well, here is more from Cecil at Grand Strand Model Railroads Incorporated.
And welcome back to Cecil's World. How many of you have a train set? Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching that have train sets, and there's a lot of kid in all of us adults today, and you know, how would you like to have a layout like this? Well, the Grand Strand Model Railroad Incorporated, right above Ed's Hobby Shop, this is where all of this is located. Now, I want to go over to a man that's a member of this club. Now, I want to talk to you. How long have you been a member of this?
About 5 years.
All right, now, what made you get into model trains?
Well, when I was 8 years old, I got a train set for Christmas, and I've been hooked ever since. My dad got me into it.
How long has that been now?
About 22 years.
All right, do you have a lot of trains? Do you have a big setup at home?
I don't have a setup at home, and I have a few of my collection is here. And our line is the Grand Strand Western, and I went ahead and demised a new paint scheme for the new modern locomotives and that kind of thing, and it's just really good to be involved.
All right, what's your favorite train of all times? You know, what you know, you like trains. What's your favorite train?
The most beautiful one to me is the Southern Pacific Daylight.
Okay, now this is a new one, old one, or what?
It's an old steamer.
Okay. Now, what do you get out of this when you come here to relax and, you know, and play with the trains? What do you get out of that?
Just watching the trains go by. I mean, I've got a lot of miles logged in, and just hanging out with the guys and talking trains and that kind of thing.
All right, y'all were talking some train talk a minute ago. What was that he was talking about when we were talking?
Oh, when we were highballing.
Highballing. What is that? I thought that was
Oh,
drinking.
that's going too fast, though.
Oh, going too fast.
We don't like talking about that too
No
much.
highballing here.
No, oh no.
All right, you ever wanted to be in TV?
Oh yeah.
All right, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look right there in that camera. Tell them we'll be right back with more Cecil's World from the Grand Strand Model Railroad Association.
We'll be right back with more Cecil's World from Grand Strand Model Railroaders right after this.
But now let's go back to Cecil at Grand Strand Model Railroads Incorporated. Cecil!
And welcome back to Cecil's World. We're right here above Ed's Hobby Shop in Myrtle Beach, and we're talking model trains this morning. And this layout, it looks so real when you go in and look at this, the mountains, the trees, and they don't have a lot of room up here. I want to show you this. Gary, come on up. He has to operate his train from back in that little hole there. But they have a lot of fun here. Now, I want to go over to talk to a gentleman that has been working with model trains for 49 years?
49 years, that's correct.
Well, how did you get into it?
Well, during the Depression, I looked at the catalogs. That was when I was growing up. But then in 1949, 1950 rather, I got a little more serious about it and bought my first train. I was being transferred to Okinawa with my military unit, and I thought that was a pretty good hobby to take along.
And you worked actually for a train company one time.
One summer during my college years, I worked for the Missouri-Kansas-Texas Railroad in Sedalia, Missouri.
All right, now what is your favorite train?
One of my favorite trains is the Texas Special, an MKT Texas Special.
All right, now is that an old one or a new one or what?
No, it was started in the late 30s and then continued on until the passenger business went out of the railroad. It was a joint venture between the Katy Railroad and the Frisco.
All right, now do you get a lot of enjoyment when you come up here and do all of this and play?
Yes, I do. I really enjoy it. I've taken the hobby with me everywhere I've gone, and I finally relocated it back here when we retired.
All right, thanks a lot. We've got a lot more to tell you about model trains from Ed's Hobby Shop right upstairs. We're in Myrtle Beach. We'll be back. You stay with us.
What new movies are opening tonight, but now let's go back into Cecil's World in Myrtle Beach. Cecil?
And welcome back to Cecil's World. We're right here in Myrtle Beach at the Grand Strand Model Railroad Incorporated, where they have all their trains set up right above Ed's Hobby Shop in Myrtle Beach. Now, if you've just joined us, you have missed a lot because, believe me, they have one heck of a train layout up here. And if you like trains, hey, this is what you ought to be involved in. Well, make it a hobby. But it's more than a hobby for some people now. Let me go over and talk to Rick. Now, Rick's a member of this, but it's more than a hobby for you because you work at a train store.
Yes, I work for the great train store, the Broadway at the beach.
All right, do you have a lot of people, are trains real big right now? A lot of people buy trains?
Yes, quite all.
All right, what do they come in, what do they ask for? What are some unusual things that people ask for sometime when it comes to trains?
Well, a lot of times they ask for different kinds of parts for it, certain types of engines and stuff like that.
This hobby can be rather expensive when you get into it. Some trains cost up to how much?
Well, some brass engines can cost you up to $15,000.
Wow, for a model train.
Yeah, they're made out of brass, and they're imported from Korea mostly.
Okay, what is your favorite train then?
I guess I have to say the 614 from the C&O Railroad.
Now, how many train sets do you have?
I have about 25 now.
Wow, that's a lot. All right, thanks for being with us, okay? All right, we've got a lot more to talk to you about trains this morning in Myrtle Beach. I think I'm going to buy me another model train. We'll be back. You stay with us. And welcome back to Cecil's World. We've had a great time this morning. From above Ed's Hobby Shop, we've learned a lot about model trains. But, you know, the big thing I want to know right now, let me go back over and ask Ed, what the Grand Strand Model Railroad Incorporated now, what's in the future for them right now?
We're looking at expanding. We're going to an N scale, which is half the size of this. It's a 120 to 1 scale, or pardon me, 160 to 1 scale. We also go to shows. We're going up to New Bern in 2 weeks. They're having a show up there, and we're going to caravan a bunch of the members up there to see what they have, possibly buy some stuff. We also go to nursing homes with the N scale. It's a modular setup, and we take it, we set it up. People reminisce about the old days when they used to ride these trains and stuff. It's really good for them. We also go to malls and shopping centers. So we have a good time.
Well, we've had a great time, and I want to give you this right here and say thanks for letting us come into your world today, okay?
Thank you, Cecil. We're glad you could be here.
All right. Okay, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Monday morning, we're going to Southgate Bowling. We're going to take you on a little bowling trip. So if you want to learn about bowling, you be with us Monday morning on Cecil's World. Everybody have a great weekend and make it a safe one. And if you don't have a model train, hey, maybe you want to go buy one. We'll see you Monday morning.
I'd sure like to.
I know, but for as much as that's worth, I doubt it. I sure do. Jeff, today we're saying pretty day, aren't we?
We are going to see a beautiful day outside. Even though the temperature is going to be a little bit cool, got to enjoy a day where you just see clear skies and lots of